Welcome to K's World. This is your host K with no topic is off topic, and today we have Kirk.
How you doing?
So we're going to talk a little bit about everything in New York City, the culture, the evolution of New York, the evolution of the neighborhood, single in the city.
Oh man.
And probably a little bit of pop culture. He's in the club business, so we're going to dive into that to see the difference, But starting off, let our viewers know where you're originally from.
So I'm originally from Washington Heights.
Okay.
Born in Washington Heights, grew up in Washington Heights in the Bronx. I work in gentlemen's clubs specifically. I work in gentlemen's clubs. I DJ. I DJ. I play the music. I'm responsible for the music, the announcements, the light show, all of that. I do weddings, stuff like that. I've done a couple of weddings in New York. They're fun.
So how long have you been doing that?
I've been DJing on and off for almost 15, 20 years now. And it's funny because I fought that for a long this is the first time in a long time that I just DJed. I was actually working in, I've always worked in the mortgage industry, whether it be post-funding, which is when you close all your paperwork, I make sure everything's straight, to pre-funding. I was always back office mortgage. And I got married, had kids, man, and I was like, yo, we need some more income. So I started bouncing at a club. Started bouncing at clubs. And I got tired of fighting. It got stupid. I'm really not built that way.
Especially now, you're too crazy. Yeah.
Man, I've seen the whole bouncing segment of my life. If we talked about one chapter of that, it would be crazy. And I've always been like, work smarter, not harder. And I was like, well, I'm working in a regular dance club. Polyester is when they used to have it, 80s club. Probably one of the worst clubs you could ever work at. People want to fight all the time. And I never understood it because the logo was like a happy face from the 80s. You got the Ramones on the wall and these people are fucking fighting.
It's supposed to come over and chill, drink, and dance.
Time. And so I was like, and I used to go to a strip club and I knew a couple of people. And somebody was like, yo, why don't you just bounce here? Because generally, there's not a lot of fights in strip clubs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People kind of...
It shouldn't be,
They self-regulate. You know what I mean? Everybody...
That's how you got in the building.
Huh?
That's how you got in the building. Through the bounce.
Right. So that's how I got in the building, in the strip clubs. One day and I've always played with music. I've always DJed. One day I asked the guy, Dougie. Shout out to Dougie. I asked Dougie, I was like, hey man, show me how to... I'm thinking about DJing out here. He was like, okay, you want to DJ here? He was like, music, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, I know how to use the mixer and all of that. And he said, all right, talking to Mike. And I couldn't. Shy, introvert, no dog, pre-dog, full cat mode. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't do it. And then eventually I learned how to do it. He was like, man, just talk. And he trained me the way I train everybody else now. He said, because when you're DJing, you don't really get a break. You don't get a break like that. Even when you go to the bathroom, it's timed. And so he said, hey man, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. And just walked out. And just sat by the bar and just kind of like my man sitting there just sat there.
So
and I had no choice. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, come back. He's cracking a beer. He's cracking a beer, laughing. You know what I mean? Whatever, figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like I already figured out the music and everything. It literally was just talking on the mic. And I know I've done that with a lot of kids. Like, yo, just talking to the mic. You good? You know everything. Just talk. And that could like
How
make
long
a break.
was your first set?
That day, Dougie left me there for a while, man. He was an asshole. I've never been that much of an asshole. He left me there for about 45 minutes, just announcing. You know what I mean? Like first I was just announcing with him and he would cue up the music. Then he let me cue up the music and then I would announce. And then he burnt off and just sat by the bar. Watch me struggle. Watch me suck.
So what's the difference of working in a gentleman's club now versus before? Any changes in the culture in there with the ladies, or is there like different...
From back then was salad days. We didn't really realize how much money everybody was making, which is kind of with everything.
Okay.
Economy was different. It's changing for the better. Like a lot of the shit you used to be able to do back then, you can't do no more. Like you can't, and I never understood why they did it. You can't talk to women all crazy. You know what I mean? You can't. Some of these managers used to be assholes, and it was unnecessary. No, but it was like gorilla pimping. You understand what I'm saying? Like unnecessarily,
Intimidation.
unnecessarily so. You trap more flies on honey than shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was to me as a DJ, even now, encouragement. You know what I mean? Encouragement. Like almost to the point where you kind of know that. Like I keep it simple. You want to talk, we'll talk. But I'm never gonna really badmouth nobody. Even people that get on my fucking nerves. It's just kind of like, alright, you know what I'm saying? I just kind of take it because it's a hard. Like in my opinion, what they do is a hard job.
Okay.
And what I do is just sit here and play music.
Here's a little softball. Have you ever dated a dancer?
Oh fuck. Yeah. Yeah, man.
I'm known with my pressure point.
Yes.
How did that
It was awesome.
go? No, I've heard horror stories that's actually not
It was
awesome.
no. This was a horror story. It was bad. It was bad, but it was real bad to the point where it kind of almost cost me my job.
Oh,
Your
no,
life,
yeah.
they said,
Yeah, like that was like I had just got out of a crazy relationship, so I'm dealing with this somebody that's just. I thought it was better, and it wasn't. It was just, and I'm not gonna shit on her. Like,
No,
I have my own issues too. Ideally, it's kind of great to deal with somebody that's in the same industry as you because they kind of know what you're going through. But
the nature of this industry.
Yeah.
look, man, some of the people, some of my closest friends, like people that, hey, I need you, boom, boom. I've met in the gentlemen's club industry. Like I love these people to this day. It's not what people think it is. Like it's not non-stop sex all the time kind of thing. We really just working with each other. You really just co-workers. It's co-workers. It's real relaxed. You know what I mean? But it can get a little crazy. It can get a little nuts. But as far as the dating was concerned, to be honest with you, I'm kind of like I'm straight. No, not in the club I work.
No dancers anymore.
Not at the. No, I'm cool with it.
Yo, but how do you feel watching your girl give a lap dance while you DJing?
I was fine with it.
It's
Yo, you know what? All right. All right. No. No.
It's just a job.
If you want to go that route,
I'm just saying.
No. Believe it or not, like a part of my brain turns off. These women are naked. They're walking around. Like I saw one dancer, for example. I worked with her for a couple years, and I just happened to have to go in the locker room for something, and she had a Motley Crue, Rolling Stones tattoo on her ass. And I was like, oh, that's dope. When'd you get that? She looked at me like I was crazy. She's like, the fuck you talking about? And I was like, what are you talking? She was like, I've had that tattoo since before you know me. And I was like, oh, okay. And she was like, yo, you really have? I was like, when I work,
you're in your zone.
My lizard brain turns off. Yeah. I'm not stupid. They're naked. I see them. They're attractive. But my brain literally turns off to that shit because I can't be horny all the time thinking about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so when I'm seeing somebody that I'm dating in this environment, that lizard brain is still kind of off. It don't even matter to me at that point. To the point where we might be going out on a date and you might hit on her and I might be stink about it. But you can go see her naked and I wouldn't give a shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like my brain just literally turns off when I'm at work. Like it's like
it's smart.
It's just something that happened. I'm not gonna lie and say it was calculated or planned. It just now her lizard brain didn't turn off. She tripped the whole time, and it was just kind of like, yo, I'm DJing. You know what I mean? Like, what are you tripping about?
So you at work?
Listen to me. We having a good time. I'm DJing.
Exactly.
Like, and the clubs in Texas are way more relaxed than New York. New York is a little bit more tight. Yo, girls will be in the booth. We partying. We having a good time. We trying to have a good time. Exactly. That's all it is. But yo, everybody's comfortable around me because I'm like a Ken doll. Like there's nothing going on. There's nothing sexual going on. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's basically I have no sexual.
Make them feel safe.
We making them feel safe, but we genuinely are having a good time. We partying in the club. You know what I mean? We set up to have the party. So I gotta set the party right. Even if I'm going through shit, I gotta set the party. So we're partying, drinks is flowing. You could drink in the club back then, and she just ended up being in the mix of that, and then eventually we started talking. And then when we started talking, she started feeling some kind of way about it. She was like, yo, you got them bitches in the booth. Yo, you used to be one of the bitches in the booth. Like, why you tripping there? And I was like, and I never hit on you.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, I never hit on you. Like, the way we got together was a little different. You hit on me. You know what I mean? So, well, what if one of them are hitting on you? And I'm like, yo, come on, man. Like, I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing that. And if I was messing with somebody in the club, you're going to hear about it. Exactly. So, come on. You know what I mean? Like, this club ain't that big. Like, you know what I mean? Or plus, yo, you don't think women want to do that? Just, she would, like, make an issue out of things. And I'm like, stop doing that because you're making it bigger than what it is. So these women going to start hitting on me just to piss you off.
So you would still date women in the business? Dance?
In the business? Yeah. And in the club I work at?
No. Another gentleman's club.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem.
He said just not where I work at.
No, because it fucks with your money. It fucks with your money.
Exactly. So it almost sounds like we need to take a trip.
You need to take a trip for what, observational reason? You could just come to see some shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. You don't gotta go for me.
I don't mind that. Everybody has to eat. I'll make some money.
No, where I work at, absolutely not.
Strip club got the best wings, right?
Yo, believe it or not, Rick's goes hard with the food. Yeah. Like salmon goes hard. I'm not sick of it yet. It's been 6 months. Okay. I'm kind of shocked. They got a steakhouse. They literally got a steakhouse. My mother moved out to Harlem when I started going to school. Lived in Texas for about 20, 25 years. Just recently moved back. In December, it'll be 2 years that I've been back. I was supposed to be back 90 days, to be honest with you. I wasn't even supposed to be here this long.
Where do you prefer better, in Texas or New York?
That's hard. That's difficult. Overall, I don't know. There's something about New York that always just keeps you a New Yorker, especially with my mother being here. Exactly. So it's always a back and forth. It's never like I never feel like I have to choose, so I don't.
Like New York is in your blood, basically.
Right. Like New York is very much in my blood. But living wise, cost of living, Texas is always going to edge out a little bit more because my kids are there. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, I was just in Texas last week for my son's birthday. He turned 21.
Are you more happy that your kids are growing up in Texas? And because you have boys, correct?
Yeah, I got 2 boys.
Would it be more? You'd be more worried raising them here in New York City, given the state of what we're in, unfortunately?
I don't. No, man.
So you told us about your boys. Would you feel different if there were girls, raising them in New York City?
Well, no. I would rather them be in New York, to be honest with you. Okay. The thing about New York compared to San Antonio, which is where I lived, is very compressed. New York is not that big. The boroughs, as far geographically, it's not that big. You know what I mean? So you kind of got to deal with people. San Antonio is super spread out. In terms of girls, like, unfortunately, cases as far as like sexual assault and shit like that, it's like through the roof in San Antonio. It's bad. I don't know what the stats are in New York, but I'd rather them be here. You kind of got to learn. I want my sons to be up here now, to be honest with you. My oldest son, they spent time, they've grown up, they've learned what it's like to be in Texas, and I kind of want them to learn what it's like to be up here. They will come up in the summer, things like that, but my oldest wants to do music. So I'm like, yo, come up here. I know people. I know a couple of people that worked in studios, be an intern, go do something. I work right next to Clark. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Go up in there and start over. Start from the ground if this is really something you want to do, because you're 20, turning 21. This is kind of the time. It's not like how it used to be anymore. You don't have to graduate, go to college, get a job, die. You can do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it took me a long time to realize anything, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Exactly. If you decide that's what you want to do. So I'm like, if that's really what you want to do, give yourself a time limit, come to New York, figure it out. If I had girls, to be honest with you, I would have no problem with them being here. I actually prefer for them to be in New York, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? I know that's a weird thing to say, given the city and how everybody perceives it to be. I kind of look at New York different. I love being out here.
Being a woman growing up in Washington Heights, looking back, I am glad I was born here. Right. You grow a thicker skin.
Right.
More street knowledge. You're more, aware of your surroundings.
Right.
You get educated in the streets. Also get educated in school. Right. So I could see the upbringing would be different for girls here. I wouldn't mind them to grow up like that.
I think. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, just saying to be street smart.
And there was some scary statistics over on the other side too.
The statistics in San Antonio are wild. They're really wild. And to be fair, I don't know what the stats are in New York because obviously I'm not a woman, but I think women are kind of a little bit more not on point, but just
Or vigilant.
more sure of themselves to a certain extent. Like, yo,
That's a sign of
respect my space kind of thing as an individual, as a woman. Like, yo, I need you to respect my space. I need you to respect me.
Setting boundaries. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not to say that silly shit doesn't happen. Excuse my language out here, but in my opinion, culturally, I would rather my children grew up out here. Now, I'm not mad they grew up down south. I think that was a good thing, but I always kind of made sure, hey, go to New York for the summer. Go spend some time with your grandmother. Now that they're older, I'm like, all right, come spend some time up here. Come move out here for a couple months. You don't gotta choose. You can do both of it. You can always go back to Texas, you know, if you feel like it. But come up here and come soak some of this up. Now that my son turned 21, I took him out. He's seeing me differently. He's not seeing me as dad. He's seeing me as like a guy. You know what I mean? And he's kind of like I told him the other day, I was like, yo, I used to be super shy. And he's like, what? And I was like, yo, extremely shy. Like, I wouldn't go out the house. I'd be up under my mother, the whole nine. And he's like, I don't believe that. And I'm like, that's rare.
Well, how did you manage to do that? Because you're a DJ, so can I be a shy DJ in the club?
Yo, it's not.
That's a good.
It's not a contradiction, man. It just depends on what's going on and what you're doing at the moment. I like people and I like mixing up with people when I feel like it. Like this. Alright, yeah, you want me to do this, you want me to come through. Alright, cool. I get myself mentally prepared to do that. But for the most part, it's not that I'm antisocial, not like that, I just love my own space.
You just go with energy like me. Like I can't force myself to do something with someone, an activity, if the vibe and the energy is not there.
I just love my own space. That's really all it is. Like I could be entertained by myself. I love people. I went to Puerto Rico a couple weeks ago for my birthday. My intention
Great pictures online.
Oh yeah,
I was living through you.
Don't even start. I had my whole nasty feet out and everything. Jacuzzi. But my intention for that trip was just to be by myself. Like I rented the house. The house was dope. I can't remember the dude's name from Airbnb, but it was dope. And it was in Guanabo. It was in the mountains. It looked like Jurassic Park.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? I was going to go from Wednesday to Wednesday by myself and just wild out, just kind of do the zip line.
Kirk time, yes.
Yeah, no, but I was going to do all the extreme stuff, like go do the zip line, go through the jungle, go to Rincon, go to Ponce. I was just going to hop around. I was going to, you know what I mean? I was going to do that National Geographic stuff. And then, like I said, I'm my only child. I didn't think about it. I was like, yo, I should invite my friends. Maybe somebody might want to come through. You know, I'm there Wednesday to Wednesday. Somebody might want to come on a Friday, leave Sunday. You know what I mean? Like, yo, just come hang out. You know what I mean? So 3 of my people showed up. I really only had 2 days alone. I really only had 2 days alone. And when everybody showed up, we all almost 50. We just kind of relaxed and just kind of enjoyed each other's company. You know what I mean? Like everything that I was thinking I wanted to do, and it wasn't to my detriment. It was to the, it was a blessing.
Yes.
It was like, yo, we all just kind of chilling. We just kind of relaxed. My man fell asleep in the hammock. He was folded up. You know what I'm saying? He was folded up. He had his toes out and everything. And I was like, Don, you all right? He was like, yeah. And then I was like, yo, you sure? The second year was leave me alone. You know what I mean? Leave me alone. I was like, man, we don't.
Those are the best snaps on the hammock on the beach, man.
Come on, with the frogs screaming in the background, the Grizel. Yo, the backyard, the back patio had a big screen. The speakers lined up, like the JBLs you got right here were lined up. They were hooked up. Even if it rained, they would never get touched.
I understand. Like I would even share it now. As much as I'm a social butterfly and I love what I do, usually after a podcast, I have to decompress in my room. I really do. Maybe for a day and a half, I have to take a breather and maybe not get engaged so much, and then I'll be back in 2 days, and I'm like, okay, what's next? What's next?
Right.
So I'm a little bit of both. You have to learn how to decompress because mental health is very important. Right. So we're gonna dive into single in the cities. It's different for you guys. Since you've been here, your comparison to dating life here versus Texas or any other city, because we're ranked like one of the worst cities to be single.
Really?
Yes. The number one is Seattle. to be single?
That's because it's raining and it's cloudy. You know what I mean? That's the weather play a lot into that. Because Seattle's just, from what I hear, I've never been out there. It's just depressing. You know what I mean? Because of the weather. I'm loving it. I'm kind of having a good time. I'm not complaining at all. But my intentions are a little different. Like, I started to think about it when I realized in December that I was here 2 years. I was like, yo, what happened? I was only supposed to be here 90 days. You know what I mean? And I'm like, all right, well, life happened. But my intention was to just come up here, handle a couple of affairs with my family, kind of be there for everybody, and then turn around and go back. And then things just haven't worked out that way. But it's almost kind of like vacation. Like, I'm literally here on vacation. That's how my mentality is. So, as far as dating is concerned, I'm dating, I'm interacting with people. I'm not selling nobody no wolf tickets. I don't know how long I'm going to be out here. So I kind of made that clear. And with that intention, I haven't had any problem.
Because we're about the same age. Because I think differently now than I did back then.
In terms of what?
Just how I handle dating now. Like I'm very specific in my boundaries, what I want. Versus before, I used to take more of a risk. I don't do that anymore.
Kind of the opposite.
Okay.
Because I've always been in relationships. I'm doing a lot of self-reflection since I've been up here. Like a lot of lifting under the hood, cleaning everything out. You know what I mean? Like I was like, let me back up, do no harm. Like I said, when I date, hey, listen, I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. I don't know what's
so you're actually honest.
Yeah. And if somebody, I think, you know, might be a little bit more serious. You know, you tell people things and they're kind of like, all right.
Okay.
And then you see things move a little weird, you kind of back up, or you just kind of like reinforce, like, hey. Because I remember somebody was like, hey, let's go out, let's go hang out. And I'm like, yo, I'm going to be in Texas. Oh, yeah, that's right. You do still go back and forth. Like, yeah, like I'm going to go see my son or whatever.
So you think that's kind of, that's like a turn off to some women because they barely...
No, because I'm old, bro. Like, I'm old and I just don't care. I do care, but I don't. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to... My intention is, hey, let's go hang out, let's go...
Exactly.
My intentions are to be romantic. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have time for it. But I've been married, I've been divorced, had kids, I've been in relationships. So this is the first time in a long time.
You're enjoying yourself.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. It's almost to the point where it's kind of disgusting, like Kirk. You know, like my people tell me, like, Kirk, you got to get it together, and I'm like, why? I'm good. Like, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not hurting nobody. The loneliness that I feel sometimes, I think honestly, I would feel even in a relationship.
And those are the worst ones.
And that's when I'm saying, like, yo, I got to work on myself. So right now is the perfect time for me to really not pursue. I'm jaded. I'm like everybody else. You know what I mean? I got my issues. I got my shit I got to work on. So I'm not even sure if I'm good to be in a relationship right now.
We were just had a podcast with my girlfriends about dating and single in the city, and one of the concerns were what you just said, which I admire you for that, is the inconsistency and the lying and how you approach a woman and you sell them something, but it's the opposite. Instead of just being upfront, like you said, hey, you know, I commute back and forth from Texas to New York. I'm not looking for anything serious. But then we get the other opposite. That they say.
Oh, they saying.
They say they're looking for something serious. They love bomb you. They treat you like that, and then they move on to the next. So I admire that about you. At least you're being honest about that.
Being honest about it. And there's a lot of people, there's a lot of women out there that are feeling the same way. Exactly. There's a lot of people that are in my same situation. One of my managers lives in Detroit. She's about to move back to Detroit. She commutes. So she's trying to figure all of that out. I don't know what's going on with her emotional state. I mean, as far as romance or anything like that, we don't deal on that level.
Oh, we wouldn't get into that.
But you know what I mean? It's like, hey, I don't know where I'm at half the time.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I don't know what I'm doing half the time. And for me personally, I'm enjoying the ride of it. It's like, hey, I have the luxury to be like, yo, I'm gonna go to Puerto Rico for a week. You know what I mean? I bust my ass and work a lot.
Exactly.
So it's just like, yo, I'm taking a week off. That's something I would have never done 5 years ago. Nobody would have known me to do nothing like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's kids, everybody would have been like, yo, what are you talking about? What are you doing? Yeah. My son turned 21. I flew down there for a day. went, partied with him, had a couple drinks, had a meal, came back. Great. You know what I mean? Like, so my mentality is different. That's not the kind of person I would have been. So, and plus I'm getting older. What's the point of lying about anything? As far as, you can't go by me, man, because I'm jaded, man, as far as the whole romance.
I think there's a little jaded in all of us from
yeah. Like I love people. I love women. I love hanging out. I love entertaining people. I love like having a good time. And it ain't even necessarily got to be romantic or sexual.
Yeah. No, you have a great energy. You're very welcoming.
I like to chat it up. You know what I mean? Like, but that's something you also got to remember. My mother put me out. She didn't literally put me out the house. Let's not get that fucked up. My mother was like, yo, you got to get from up under me at a certain age. I don't remember what age it was, 13, 14, something like that. Like, yo, go out. Stop being up under your mother. I'm not your friend.
Wow, that's powerful.
But I never came back. So, and even then for a long time, like, yo, all my people know me as like this shy kid. Like, I got friends I've known for years. They know me a certain way. And since I've been back, they're like, yo, you totally different. I don't even know who you are. I walk in the bars and they're like, oh, Kirk, how you doing? I'm like, yo, how these people know you in this bar? I've been living here 20-something years. You've been back 6 months. I'm like, I don't know. You just learn how to make friends with
you know what I just realized? Your dog's energy reflects your energy as an owner.
Maybe.
Because you're both very calm, but social.
Right. And I
believe in that. You transmit your energy onto your animals.
Nah, let me tell you something. I gotta be honest with you. A homeboy of mine, my man Zoe, I gotta hit Zoe up. I haven't heard from Zoe in a couple of years. That's on me. He had a kennel and he was breeding dogs, and I always had cats. Hence me being not social. And one day he was like, motherfucker, you need a dog. And I was like, I don't want no dog. I gotta, I'm running around, I'm traveling. You don't gotta do nothing with a cat but leave the food and change the litter box. He was like, nah, you need something to take care of. And I said, I got a cat. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, you don't take care of no cat, bro. Like, God forbid something happen to you, cat gonna be fine. You can open the door, the cat will figure it out. You know what I'm saying? He was like, you need something to take care of. I was like, I got kids. He's like, your kids are getting older, they're teenagers, they don't want to fuck with you like that. And he was right. And he was like, I'm going to give you a dog. And he just caught me in that phase where,
you needed that type of love, unconditional
specifically, I don't know if it's true for you, man, but I've noticed that, like, men, when we get older, we get kind of stuck in a certain way to do things. When you're a little younger, it's just kind of easy, free-flowing. I'm not saying women don't do it, too. I'm just noticing that, in my experience, old men get a little... They stay in that pocket. It's just easy to stay in that pocket. Right. Like, I don't want to do nothing that's too uncomfortable.
I think we experience that too. Sometimes we stay dormant in something, and we have to kind of push ourselves to get out of that hole. I've been there before, where I needed all the motivation to get out of that. Something to kick my ass and say.
You don't want to do anything out of pocket.
Exactly.
Anything out of pocket. Because he even said it. He said, you need a dog.
It was a good point. He had a good point.
But literally, the way that it hammered him was like, he was like, you need a dog. I'll make you less of an asshole. And he literally said that. And I was just kind of like I looked at him, and I didn't say nothing because he wasn't wrong. Because I could be an asshole. You know what I mean? It was what it was.
Yeah, we okay.
And it was just kind of like...
You had nothing to lose.
Right. I was like, give me the dog. But yo, keep it a buck. That dog... Like you said, my energy protection, yo, a lot of that shit is like symbiotic. It's back and forth. It's back and forth. It's back and forth.
They're so therapeutic for me.
Right. That's why I laughed when you were like, yo, bring the dog. And I'm like, yo, he's wet right now. I just bathed him. But under normal circumstances, I would have just brought him. It probably would have been a little crazy. But he would have sat down.
Kirk, once again, thank you so much for coming through.
Appreciate you. Appreciate the hard questions.
Yeah. All right, put you in the spot. Love your energy. I appreciate it. So I'll definitely keep you in mind for other panels, because my mind is already
a panel like me with a bunch of other people.
Yeah,
the women.
Man, I'm gonna have to wear.
Put them amongst the women.
I have to wear something.
No, I know they're gonna like you, because, like you said, you straight up with stuff, and that's the inconsistency we have. But thank you very much.
We put them behind the veil.
Oh no!
We have you ask 3 different questions.
Oh man.
We'll finance the
I have to bring some coconut water, man. I gotta be hydrated for that.
Well, Kirk, K's World, thank you for watching us. Peace.